Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. That's right. That's true. Tell everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. You are welcome to the Temple of Truth tonight. First, they deny. Then, they gaslight. Then, they double down. Finally, shamelessly, they accept. If there's something that you should be learning from this platform every minute or every hour you spend on this platform, is to never, ever be swayed by whatever these rogues says. You should never take them beyond the word of the trashy mouth that the words comes out from. You take them serious at your own peril. Our born criminals. They denied that they were buying plane. Then the plane got seized. Now they are flying in one. Share this. Yes. Well, today, thank you so much once again for joining me. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are currently tuning in. It is Mayegun Live. Today, the news making the round is that subsidy is not gone. Rather, subsidy is stubborn and it is back in full force. Back with a banger. When they removed subsidy, Nigeria was spending about 420 billion naira a month. They said they were spending, that was Bokuwari, they were spending between 3.8 trillion and 4.5 trillion naira a year. That was wasteful. Who were those collecting the money? They didn't tell us. But Nigerians continue to buy fuel, their own fuel, at ridiculous prices that does not correspond with the same economy that we called back then Buharinomics. So they destroyed everything. Then somebody came and said, oh, it's gone. We won't pay that anymore. They clapped for him. Do you remember? Don't worry. That's where we're going to start from this evening. Because the story has changed now.
Subsidy. Unfortunate. The budget that I've glimpsed before I assumed office And what I've heard is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone. Subsidy can no longer justify an ever increasing cost in the wake of dry resources. We shall instead channel whatever to form subsidy.
Nuisance lele.
So earlier, but it was a lie that from day one, right in this temple of truth, a lie that we never bought. A month after he made that statement, it became obvious that what he meant by subsidy was gone was that those who were collecting the subsidy then, they have been changed. They were gone. They will be replaced by new guys that will now be collecting it. They clapped for him. 2 months after subsidy was gone, they started paying more than what Bokuwari was paying when you were buying a liter of petrol for 160 naira or so, or 67 naira. I kept saying it here. And they went on, their media continued to say, it took a bold step. It took a the step that was supposed to have been taken years ago. That was audacious. The mumus. I don't even know if they are mumu. I kind of feel like those who believe them, that subsidy was gone at the mumus, right? But you see those ones who went online or went on TV to go and praise Stephen Numbu. And they were even advising him. How many of you remember? They were even advising him what he should do with the subsidy money. Now that he has removed subsidy, we have to make sure that the development of now majority of them are silent. And it's so sad that some are even still pushing it, that the reason why you are suffering is because Stephen Numbu removed subsidy. But the truth is that subsidy never left. They just scammed you. And for so long, in the last 1 year, 4 months, 1 year, 3 months, these guys, they have stolen over 8 trillion naira. 8. I'm not kind of like I'm on any round figure. I'm just giving you the round figure. Over 8 trillion naira. You know why? I'll tell you. When Bokuwari was paying subsidy and you were buying a liter of petrol for 167 naira per liter, the exchange rate then was 440 naira to $1. Immediately, but it was a calculated one. In case if you don't know, okay, subsidy was gone. The entire economy further tanked. Therefore, the only subsidy that will be available then, because naira to dollar just jumped from black market rate of 710 naira to 1,900 naira to $1. Now, what that simply means is that the required dollar subsidy that they couldn't give them naira subsidy, so they had to give them dollar subsidy. It got so bad that they went on to go and borrow money. Yeah, that they used the crude oil of Nigeria as a collateral. They went to go and borrow money so that they can pay the subsidy. They decided to pay the subsidy in dollars. Well, how did they do that? Through the central bank. So central bank, instead of sorry, while the rest of you were buying $1 for 1,800 naira to $1, then these their friends, oil marketers, energy, this is a matrix energy, especially the one that is that increased the imported fuel from Malta from $0 in May 2023 to over $2 billion imported from Malta in 1 year, May 2024. So what they now did was that you see people like that, they will now, instead of them buying their own dollar for 1,800 naira, they gave it to them at subsidized rate. They went on, NNPC went to borrow money, gave it to the central bank. Through the central bank, they accessed that. So that was how they felt they could hide the subsidy from you, by subsidizing the dollar for their friends. You see all of all that, what do you call it? The $3.3 billion that they took from the Afrexim Bank, facilitated by Tony Elumelu. Long story, but that's another thing, okay? $3.3 billion, $1.2 billion that they also took from the IMF and the World Bank altogether in 1 year. All of this, they gave them as subsidy. They didn't give them a subsidy to those who are going to probably like improve, for instance, like your manufacturing industry suffering from epileptic power supply. That $3 billion could have made so much difference in just 1 year. But they shared the money. It was subsidy. So that when all the fuel they were to bring to Nigeria, by the time they landed in Nigeria, if you are to factor in the inflation as well as the crashed naira, by now in Nigeria, you are supposed to be buying a liter of fuel, a liter of petrol. The cheapest you will see should be 1,500 naira. That's the cheapest. Factoring the inflation, the exchange rate, and the rest. So what Tinubu and gang did was, instead of saying, okay, how much is the fuel you have brought to Nigeria? Oh yeah, let us pay you that. They decided to subsidize the dollar and continue to push the lie in the media that they've removed subsidy. All you're suffering right now, you are just endure, okay? Please endure. It's because we removed subsidy. We are going to use the money. There was no money removed from subsidy. Now it is obvious. They've come out now to say subsidy is going to cost Nigeria over 6 trillion naira a year. The subsidy is back. Remember how you are already buying fuel at what price right now? And that's what they do. They are the ones importing fuel. They are the ones holding the fuel. They are the ones who are like again the cost and the price. All of this just to rob you. The robbery there is that the difference between Bokuwari time and now is that the robbery right now is like a double. At least Bokuwari was paying subsidy, you knew. Abi, you were complaining at how much you were buying fuel. And that also affected how much you are paying for food. Abi? Now, this one colluded with his paddies, robbed you blind. Then they, rob you by borrowing money in your name, dipping you into perpetual indebtedness. Meanwhile, they were telling you that the hardship that you are paying for now, which is also, right, going back to their own supposed strategies as well, right? So they are making you believe that you are only don't worry, you are sacrificing. Very soon everything is not going to be fine. I saw some queue around Lagos, Kano today, and I was like, why?
Is that Jasco? Jasco is in. You can see them. It's all up. This Nigeria, God will have mercy upon us. I was in this filling station in less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes. As I'm getting there, they are telling me that fuel is 880. Less than 5 minutes, this guy changed it to 900. I said, no. Now they sell 900 per liter, and this is solo. This is what we are going through in this country, Nigeria. No fuel. I just cannot make that recording inside the filling station because of you should not use your phone in the filling station. They are selling it in solo 900 naira. Less than 5 minutes. God have mercy upon us in this country. God help us. Is that Jasco? Jasco is in it.
God is not going to help you. He has already helped you by giving you brain. You've got brain. So where do you think protests should start from? It should start from where all of them are gathered suffering. Or rather, we all come back onto social media to lament. Anyway, thanks for letting us know, because if you don't rant that way, we will probably have some level of evidence towards what we are talking about. According to Tifnumbu and Shitty Man, Bokwari handed them a collapsed country. Even though they still go around him and call him their leader, but when they face their victims, they had this to say. The people that wrecked Nigeria, they are called the elder statesmen in Nigeria.
Poor man. He has taken some bold steps. The economy that we made was in a huge mess. But it wasn't for us, who are part of the Buhari administration. We cannot deny that. We belong to them political family. It's not about poor man. Yes.
That's the way that likes to, it wants to sound like somebody who is like anyway, that's the Shitty Man, a Boko Haram terrorist sympathizer. That is the vice president to a drug dealer, heroin trafficker, certificate forger, election rigger, and treasury looter, Tifnumbu. So those are the two guys in charge of that contraption. Nigeria is in a huge mess. The economy is in shambles, they said. But they were able to go ahead and spend over 150 billion naira on new aircraft for the president. Remember when they said it was all a lie? Shut out this thing, this rumor. Why do you people hate Nigeria? Why do you people want Nigeria? Why? The president is not buying any plane. Remember that time? 150 billion. Akpabioli and his team of criminals in their National Assembly of Thieves, they even kind of had a debate on that, remember? They officially said Tifnumbu didn't ask to buy any plane. Can you believe that? The Senate president, the Nigeria Senate, supposed a body that should be performing the checks and balances on the executive, they joined the fray. Do you remember this? This was just 6 weeks ago, less than 2 months ago.
Run the Senate by answering people in the social media, because the social media is garbage in, garbage out. I was in Zanzibar attending to Inter-Parliamentary Union meetings when that information went out that the Senate President has said he will approve a brand new plan for the President, irrespective of whether there is suffering or no suffering. There was never a time such a statement came from me, because I've never had any correspondence to approve a plan or not to approve a plan. And I did not want to answer, but they went further to generate it, and then they went wrong as if I was saying that I did not care about the Nigerian people, I did not do this. We care about the president, we care about the Nigerian people. We will approve things that will benefit the Nigerian people. We will approve things that will improve the living standard of the people. At the same time, we will also take cognizance of the duties of Mr. President. If his vehicle is bad, we will repair the vehicle. If his plane is bad, we will approve money for the repair of the plane. So that is not an issue. There is nothing before us. I don't think you should bother about it. Somebody called me and said that he was quoting from BBC, that what I said in Senator Monguru's house, that the statement was false and should be disregarded. That I was now saying that I will not approve. That is what you may call anticipated blackmail. The purveyors of the story know very well that maybe there is problem with the presidential fleet, and that where they will go to will be the parliament. And so they are now trying to do anticipatory blackmail to tell us if they bring it, do not look into it. So I think that we should ignore them and focus on what we are doing here. I've read the president's correspondences to us. There was nothing touching on plane or no plane. But I can tell you that when you hear stories such as the death of the vice president of Malawi as a result of defective plane, and then you hear stories such as the death of the president of Iran as a result of defective craft. In fact, this time it was a helicopter and all that. We shouldn't ever dream and allow such to be a portion. It won't be. Yeah, the Senate is very responsible. The National Assembly is very responsible. We will look into issues that will benefit the governance of the country, irrespective of anticipatory blackmail. Get the words, anticipatory blackmail. They know very well that something like that may come in future, and if it's a necessity, the Senate will look into it. But there is nothing like that before us now. So they can go ahead, anticipate and blackmail the Senate President. It will not affect me. Minority Leader, you may wish to second, not what he said, but just second the motion that we adjourn for about 1 hour to come back to approve the votes and proceedings of this August chamber. Proceed.
Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, I'd like to second the motion made by the Senate. Is aware of the insinuation in some section of the media. Order! Mr. President, in closing, I want to say that the Senate is aware of some insinuation in a section of the media, to the extent that the President of the Senate, leading this Senate, either had at one time indicated that we had a request that the purchase of a new plane be approved for Mr. President, and that the President of the Senate had indicated that regardless of what Nigerians were going through, that would be approved. That was one. And the Senate is also aware that Mr. President tried to clarify this issue, that at no point did he say that. Then another section of the media picked on that again to say the President of the Senate, again leading the 10th Senate, has said whatever Mr. President likes, he should go and do. This Senate will not approve the purchase of a plane. And as we sat here today, a section of the social media had also been circulating that we had gone into an executive session to discuss about the presidential request for a new plane and how we are going to approve it. Mr. President, the essence of my saying this is just to make it clear and to alert Nigerians that there is the presence of a fifth columnist and some other propagandists who are doing everything possible to destabilize this country and also destabilize the parliament. Mr. President, I say for the record, as the leader of this Senate, that there is no request before this Senate as of yet. So there could not have even been a basis for us to debate whether we are going to approve or not. It had never been discussed either on the floor of this Senate or among individual senators or at the executive's closed session. There is no such request. If the request comes, it's not about Mr. President of the Senate alone. It's for 469 elected representatives of the Nigerian people to discuss and take a position. 360 in the House of